Okay, good morning everyone, and welcome to Low Code in Waste and Recycling. And I'm joined by one of our participating organisations, Tewkesbury Borough Council, and I'm joined by three wonderful people from Tewkesbury Borough Council that have been involved in their Low Code project. We have Amy Adams, who's Programme Officer, we have Joe Cole, who's Lead Digital Developer, and we have Clare Evans, who's Corporate Services Manager. So, welcome all. Claire, can you just quickly tell us, where is Tewkesbury? And tell us a little bit about Tewkesbury Borough Council, or District Council.
Yeah, so Tewkesbury is a district council based in Gloucestershire, so the north of Gloucestershire. We've got borders with the Cotswolds, Cheltenham, Gloucester, population of around 90,000, so not a huge number, but it's a big area. And probably the most notable thing is we are the fastest growing district outside of London, according to the latest Office of National Statistics. So we're growing, and as such, our customer demand is growing. Hence, the need for us investing more in digital and a new platform.
Excellent, excellent, and that wonderful segue leads me into my first question. So thank you very much for that. So my first question is, what were the change drivers? What initiated this move to a low code strategy?
I would say it's two-pronged. So the first was a corporate decision where we recognised at management level that we needed to invest more in our improvement projects. We were aware of projects across the council, across services that were happening, but were stalling because we didn't have the focused resource to deliver them. So we introduced our business transformation team, which is the team that myself, Amy and Joe sit in. And we were set up specifically to deliver these improvement projects that are mainly with a digital focus, but primarily to deliver efficiencies and to make our services more effective. So that setting up of the business transformation team helped us to deliver what is one of our biggest projects to begin with, which is introducing a new digital platform, and we went with low code.
Yeah, I think well, one of the drivers from a technical perspective was that we acknowledged that our current supplier wasn't really fit for purpose. We had a lot of issues around integrations and being able to talk to, our back office systems. Yes, it was quite clear to us we needed to get out there and look for something else.
Excellent, and I guess this will be a question for you then, Joe. Why low code?
Yeah, so we did a lot of market research. We had a consultant come out and actually look at all the things we did around the council, and try and see if there's any sort of need for a more corporate CRM system. And I think the feedback from that was that we didn't need something that was quite a big CRM system as such, but we could benefit from that sort of thing. And their recommendation was to go with a low-code system, but nevertheless, we went out and we looked at what the options were for us. We looked at Dynamics, we looked at Salesforce, a lot of the big players, but I think it really did become apparent that they would need more than the resource we could sort of put in it. At the time it was just me as the developer. For me to roll out something like Dynamics across the council would take a hell of a lot of time, which wouldn't have been feasible. Yeah, so I think we knew we were looking for low code. We knew we didn't want something that was no code. We needed that extra bit of flexibility, and Liberty Create seems to be a great fit for that. It's brilliant that we can put a little bit of code in to really expand the functionality.
Excellent. So you've got we understand your drivers for change, and we understand why you've gone down this sort of this low code route. So how did you bring the organisation with you? Because we hear a lot about sort of local authorities buying technologies and not engaging, communicating with the organisation as a whole in all the different service areas, and that being a problem, that sort of thing. So Amy, how did you do any internal communication engagement, and what did that look like?
Yeah, I mean, we did lots of internal engagement and continue to do it. Like you say, it was quickly realised that this was something that was really important. If we were going to bring everybody along on this sort of digital journey with us, we needed everyone to buy in. So we've done staff briefings with all officers in the council. We do an update in our staff newsletter regularly, and we also have our own business transformation newsletter that we sort of send out updates in, just to keep everybody engaged and everyone knowing what it is that we're working on, and that helps them to start thinking then about how we could possibly change the processes or look at their processes for them.
Excellent, excellent, thank you. And so I'm guessing that with all this sort of wonderful news, you've got a new platform, you know, there's this drivers for change, you're doing your communications. I'm hoping that there's some sort of, has that changed, you know, the culture of the organisation? You know, is there renewed interest in transformation and making a difference within Tewkesbury Council?
Yes, definitely. I mean, we can now go to team meetings and have conversations with people about the processes and the systems that they use, and we're able to say that we can make a change to it. Whereas before we've sort of been stuck in quite rigid systems, we're now able to say, yes, we could change that process. We could save time for you here. We could do all of those things, and that's really planting a seed for them to think about what it is that they do day to day and how they could possibly streamline that or make it better for the customers too.
Excellent, excellent. So we've had some really sort of interesting sort of points made at the moment, and obviously everything's looking good for the staff and everything's looking good for Tewkesbury's organisation. Who's looking after these the customer, the citizen? You know, how do they benefit potentially from this this wonderful new transformational strategy that you're adopting? I guess this is a question for you, Claire.
Yeah, so as a council, we made the decision to bring digital under my remit, so corporate services, and that now sits alongside customer services and communications, which so together there's that real sort of putting the customer at the heart of what we're doing, and it goes right throughout the teams that I work with. Everything that we're working on now, we put that customer right at the heart of everything. So any process that we're looking at, any decision we're making, we're thinking, hold on, what's the impact going to be on the customer? What's the experience going to be on the customer? And that goes right along to, you know, our web designer and user experience. It's thinking about how will this best work for the people that are going to use our services, basically. We also work really closely with the services. So our customer services team leader will come along to any process that we're looking at to see if the impact on the customer needs to be considered. And we use previous frustrations that they might have had, these customers, and look at using those to improve it, basically. We've also got a systems panel, and we use that panel to reach out to them, to ask them for their views. You know, we're developing this. Is this the sort of thing you'd be looking at? What else would you want from it? So yeah, absolutely, very much at the heart of what we're doing.
Excellent, excellent. And I guess the only thing we've not touched upon, I was going to say the elephant in the room, but the missed bins in the room. Waste and recycling. This, you know, we're looking at an area which, you know, every citizen has a touch point with waste and recycling, whether you live, you know, on the local estate or the big smart house at the top of the hill. Everyone uses waste recycling. So I'll come to all of you, I guess, in turn. Amy, you're first on my screen, so you can go first. How have you seen the adoption of the low code strategy change the waste and recycling service for the better?
Yeah, well, what we've been doing is every process that we're looking at to move across, we've looked at ways that we can improve that, so we don't move across something as it is. We're constantly looking at ways that we can improve that, and as Claire said, we do that collaboratively with the service area and with our customer services team leader, just to make sure that we've got all bases covered. So we're really trying to move everything over and make lots of improvements that will benefit the customer and stop them having to feel the need to phone in all the time. We can make that easier for them, and if they choose to connect with us digitally, they will get the information that they need rather than having to make that phone call.
Excellent. Joe, from a technical and developer and IT perspective?
Yeah, so I think we're doing quite a lot of things differently now, which is quite good. We've previously we used to have an area we used to call a whiteboard where people would where the crews would be able to enter, say, a bin that was contaminated, so that our customer service team would know if anyone tries to report that it's actually not a valid mist bin because it was contaminated. It was just effectively a text box being stored in a database somewhere that would, record that property's miss. It wasn't something that was anyway linked to that property. So with Liberty Create, we're now able to really easily just create a relationship between, that actual bin being missed, and add a note against it saying that, on that day it was missed because of contamination. So if the customer tries to log it, we're actually able to stop it in its tracks without it being reported through and someone having to actually check this text box to see if that property was entered in there as being contaminated. So I think it will save a lot of time, and again, it will give us some good data.
Excellent, thanks, Joe. And finally, Claire.
Yeah, so for me, obviously it's all about that customer and the improvements that we'll bring to them. So with Liberty and Liberty Create, we're looking to sort of bring in things such as automated communications, so saving time not for just the officers but for the customer as well. Linking the information that we have in a better way with the existing legacy systems that we do have. Reducing administration work for the teams. There's loads of benefits that are going to come. So yeah, we're really excited about it, actually.
Excellent, that's great. Well, thank you very much for getting involved, and thank you very much for being so insightful